make you wait. If you want to know the answer to the title, I'm buying PS4 games because they're super freaking cheap. Anyway, this is basically just going to be like a PS4 collection video, but I didn't want to name it PS4 collection video because that's kind of boring, so I figured I'd make the title at least somewhat interesting. Anyway, I was going to break these down in alphabetical order because when I organize them, I always have them in, you know, like alphabetical order, but unfortunately, when I was pulling it out, I was stacking it up in alphabetical order, which means it's actually going to be in like reverse, but whatever. We're not going to linger on any one game for too long, just kind of go through, give a little like mini review of the game, I guess, my thoughts on it, and then jump to the next. So first up, I'm going to like kind of put these games together. The Last of Us 1 and 2, I highly recommend that you play through both of these games. Definitely The Last of Us 1. If you don't play through 2, you know, it's still a good game that I would say you should experience at least once in your life. But, I mean, if you skip out on this one, it may be for the better if you tend to kind of get crushed by certain things in story. I'm really trying not to spoil this here. Anyway, don't listen to me. I highly recommend both of these. Next up, Resident Evil 4. This thing has been released on literally any console that even exists, even like the Zeebo. I've sang this game's praises enough, and there's actually, you know, the remake coming out in March that will be coming to the PS4, surprisingly. I am praying to God. I've seen the gameplay, and I am scared to know what the FPS and what the dynamic resolution situation is going to be on PS4. I know this console is pretty powerful, but like, ooh, those graphics were looking pretty good. I wonder how that experience is going to be on last gen. Yeah, if you haven't played RE4 by now, like, you can probably pick it up on eBay for what, maybe under $10 on PS4 or Xbox One. Minecraft, it's Minecraft. If you're buying a console, you need Minecraft. Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, I haven't played either of these yet. I literally just got them a few days ago. This one's literally still sealed. I actually got it sealed for only like $8 too, so these games are known for their Nemesis system, and I'm really interested to see how these games play out. It's basically like a game where there's sort of like a story to it, I guess, but like you kind of control how the story goes. You pick your friends, you pick your enemies. Pretty cool concept. Excited to try it out. Marvel Spider-Man, the pinnacle of Spider-Man games, and arguably the pinnacle of superhero games. Don't get me wrong, I love the Batman Arkham series, Arkham Asylum, Origin, City, Night. I love all of those games to death, but I love this game, okay? I love this game to death. The one thing I love about this game, it's not all just about Spider-Man. Like, don't get me wrong, like, when it's focusing on the Peter stuff, there's definitely a few moments where I wouldn't say it feels slow, but there's definitely, like, a little bit of busy work to maybe pad out the pacing, but it's not enough to be egregious. It's just enough to be like, oh, Peter Parker's real life is kind of boring. This is why the Spider-Man stuff is so cool. It's like a really nice dynamic. The only part, and specifically just to kind of cover the parts that I'm talking about that feel like they kind of drag out, it's like the puzzles when you're working with like Doc Ock. I don't feel like it was something that was absolutely necessary, but it's like a cool little way to switch up the gameplay because those low moments I feel like feed into heightening the action moments, you know, when there's like big bombastic set pieces going on and stuff like that. So highly recommend playing through this one if you haven't yet. You can probably knock it out in like 12 to 16 hours, maybe less. Guardians of the Galaxy is a super underrated game, and I feel like the only reason it's underrated is because this came out shortly after the Avengers game, and if you know anything about that game, let's just say Avengers wasn't very good or wasn't exactly what anybody wanted. Now, granted, I kind of enjoyed the story they had there, but the live service, loot, RPG, no. But thank God this doesn't have any of that. This is a full-on single-player experience, and it's a shame that so many people didn't get to experience this. It is truly, I know I've said this word like 5 million times in the last 3 sentences, but it's an experience. You need to experience this English? For being a Guardians of the Galaxy game, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy has always been a bit more, like, lighthearted or whatever, but there were surprisingly a lot of moments that kind of pulled on the heartstrings. It was like, damn, this story hits. GTA 5, it's an RE4 situation. If you don't have this game by now, you're lying. Diablo 3, people are always surprised when I tell them I love the Diablo series, but yeah, I love Diablo. Growing up, I used to love the hell out of Diablo 2. So many hours that I put into that game, and I never got to play Diablo 3. I know it was on PS3, and I just bought a PS3 a bit ago, so I was thinking about getting it over there, but I was like, you know what? It is on PS4. Might as well just go with the remaster, get that sweet 1080p, 60 FPS. Haven't played it yet, but I'm probably going to dive into it later today. Days Gone, such an underrated gem. I don't care what anybody says. I know at launch it was a little rough. There was like some bugs and stuff like that. But I feel like this game does not get enough love. Ooh, it's PS4 Pro enhanced. I've been thinking about picking up a PS4 Pro. I mean, I know it'd be better just to save up for a PS5, but like, the prices are so up there, man. I love Deacon and Boozer's like dynamic, you know what I mean? Even though Boozer was kind of like out of the game for like a little bit after the first act for a while, like, I still love their dynamic anytime they docked, and like Deacon as a protagonist, I loved it. I love the story as a whole. The gameplay felt cool, and don't even get me started on the hordes. See, people were complaining, they were like, oh, you advertised that the whole game should have had hordes, but I feel like if the whole game was about the hordes, you would have got sick of the mechanic, and it just would have felt like tedious and redundant, because honestly, after you do it for a while, it does start to feel that way. So if it was like padded out through like the whole game, people probably would have hated it even more. So I feel like the fact that they saved it until like the last couple hours of the game, and then finally, you know, after avoiding these hordes and being like, oh my god, this is such a huge threat, if you get caught by one of these, you're dead. But then like right at the end, you get that huge set piece at the farm. You got all these fucking zombies, like, or whatever they're called. They weren't even zombies in that game. I forget what they were called, but you know, they're all chasing you. You got like the napalm stuff that you throw at them. It's insane. Dark Souls 1 through 3, I'm not going to say anything about these games at all. If you have not played Dark Souls 1 or any of the Dark Souls games, maybe you can skip out on 2. If you haven't played any of the Dark Souls games, definitely recommend picking up 1. I'm not going to say anything else. Play this game. Hot take, Dark Souls is not hard. Once you learn it, it's fucking easy. Cyberpunk 2077. Now, if this video would have been recorded about 2 months ago, I would have had to sit here probably taking up most of the time in this video talking about this game and singing its praises. But you know what? Finally, people are actually giving it a chance, playing it, and realizing how great of an RPG, video game, work of art, masterpiece, whatever you want to call it, that this is. This universe is amazing. The characters are amazing. I simp for Judy hella hard. And this is another game similar to Dark Souls, where I'm just going to say, pick it up, play it. Since it had such a bad reception, it's still pretty cheap. I think my copy only costed like $20, and I got a brand new seal with like a special cover art and map and a bunch of special edition stuff, so yeah, definitely play this one if you have not. I cannot recommend it enough. And they've done enough patches now where I can say, if you're on a base Xbox One or PS4, it is playable. I beat it on base Xbox One, and it was not as bad as it was at launch. Is it the prettiest thing in the world? No, you're looking at about 720p, bouncing between 20 to 30 FPS, but it's definitely a lot more stable now, and I can say it is a playable experience that will definitely suffice if you're looking for a good RPG to get totally lost in. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I gotta stop myself. Every time I start talking about this game, I can't stop. I love it so much. It's literally like, I only played it for the first time this year, and it's already in like my top 3 games of all time. I love it so much. The next 4 games we're gonna blend into all kind of like into one. You want to know why? Because it's all Call of Duty. It's a new year. It's a new Call of Duty. Black Ops 3 campaign was fucked with my head, honestly. Multiplayer wasn't bad. Zombies was amazing. Infinite Warfare campaign was amazing. Multiplayer felt great. It was a smooth IW campaign, or MP. It kind of just took what they started in Black Ops 3 with their version of advanced movement while running all that, made it even better. Zombies in Spaceland is so underrated, and then this also came with Modern Warfare Remastered. It's literally just the old classic but remastered. It's still amazing. Only has the MP and campaign. Surprisingly, the MP is still alive to this day. I was actually just playing it a couple days ago, and there's definitely still enough people in there to get a lobby even at like 6 in the morning. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, amazing campaign. MP feels, it's probably the last classic feeling Call of Duty that we're ever going to get. And Zombies was strangely addictive. D-Machine I actually played more than anything. I put 8 days of my Zombies playtime into D-Machine alone, and then, you know, I have like another 20, 30 days of playtime in Zombies on this game. Yeah, I played Cold War a lot. Call of Duty Vanguard, didn't mind the campaign, thought it was actually kind of cool. I kind of like the whole flashback thing, and I'm hoping that maybe one day we can see those characters come back. I really liked Arthur. I thought Polina was a fucking badass. Multiplayer was just MW 2019 with a, I don't know, World War II coat of paint. And Zombies, Shinonuma was good. Arkham boss fight was good. The rest kind of sucked ass. Bloodborne, I've only played about 3 hours of this game, and just like Dark Souls, go buy it. I mean, you don't even have to buy it. If you have a PS Plus extra subscription, it's already on there. Just, dude, download it, play it. I mean, even if you're not into Souls games, I think this one is, I wouldn't say it's the most accessible or the easiest one to get into, but it's definitely one of the easier ones because it's a lot faster paced. You know, I don't want to spoil anything. Just play this damn game. Battlefield Hardline, a really unappreciated Battlefield for no damn reason. The campaign just felt like a Miami Vice, like, cops show. It was so freaking sick, man. It was just, like, all about, like, the whole drug war and stuff like that. Obviously, when you play Battlefield, you're looking for, like, a military experience, but honestly, I didn't mind it. I thought the campaign was sick, and the way it was set up, like, episodes. Now, thank God it wasn't sold in episodic fashion, at least I don't think so, like, you know, some of those annoying games we're doing at the time, like Hitman, Resident Evil Revelations 2, I hated the whole episodic format. It just makes the whole DLC system a whole lot more weird, and it makes you question, like, okay, what's coming on the disc? It's just, it's a weird situation, but yeah, this game, I cannot recommend it enough. The multiplayer is not very alive nowadays, but I would say if you can find a cheap copy on eBay for about $10 or less, it will be the best 5-hour shooter campaign you have played in a while. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That is 100 hours I will never get back. But I will say, the gameplay was fun enough to keep me going for that 100 hours, obviously. The first 10 hours is when it was in its prime. The middle 85 hours were, and then like the last 5 hours were pretty good again. I'm just kidding. It didn't actually take me 100 hours to beat it. That's just kind of the joke with this game, that it's like, oh, it's a big 100-hour adventure. You know, everybody says it takes something like 100 hours. I don't think anybody out here is actually taking 100 hours to beat this game. But I can say it definitely took me a good 50 hours, I think, something like that. So in my case, I'd say the first act of the game before you leave with Sigurd to go to whatever the other place, I can't remember anything from this game, man. Before you start the whole takeover of whatever country you were in this game, you know, everything there was good. But once you got to that point when you were just kind of clearing out the map, that's when the game sucked. But then once you clear it all out and you get to the third act where you find Sigurd again and you fight Bassam and all that, oh my god, I just totally spoiled the game. Well, you know what? Nobody's even gonna get to the end of this damn game anyway. It's fine. It's not that huge of a spoiler. You can literally see it coming from like 1,010 miles away. Anyway, if you're looking for an RPG to literally waste your life on for like the next week or two if you have absolutely nothing to do, I'd say it's worth it. You know, the voice acting's really good. The graphics are amazing. It's a huge, living, breathing open world. Ubisoft. Combat feels good, and yeah, all around, it's a good game, but not one I'm going to replay simply for its length. If I'm going to replay an Assassin's Creed game, I'd rather go back and play like 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. Hell, I'd probably even rather replay 1. No need for long dragged out outros. If you have any recommendations for games I should pick up for the PS4, just let me know. If you have any thoughts or opinions on any of the games I mentioned, let me know. And yeah, I try to upload here. This is my second channel. Try to upload here weekly, like once every Friday, something like that. If you want to catch my main channel, I upload over there daily at 7 p.m. Go find it, link in the description, probably be the top link. And yeah, that's that. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.